Hey, we're live. How you doing out there? You know what? After last week, can you please just write something in the comment section if you guys can hear me or not? I don't want to take up any time where you can't hear me, so please just write over there. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start on the assumption that you can hear me. So, how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another Monday night, and boy, we're glad to see you guys. And no excuses for not being here because you're all probably all snuggled up in your warm house trying to stay warm. It's crazy out there. I was just telling the rest of the panel that it's actually snowing in Las Vegas tonight. What's that about? But anyways, take care and be safe out there. But you know what we're all about. We're here to bring you guys everything you need to know to be successful in whatever it is that you want to achieve, and tonight isn't going to be anything different. If you're new to our Hangouts, please say hi, and also please feel free to write any comments below if there was something that maybe you would like us to talk about, because we're always open for new suggestions too. So just let us know about that. But we do this for you guys, the doer, the dreamer, the entrepreneur. We show up every week because we want you to succeed. So tonight the topic that we're going to talk about is show up for your life every day, not just the good days. And boy, I think we've all been guilty of this, but you can't do that when you're in your business. You've got to show up. And you know that we get a little wrong, we get a little real, so maybe I'm going to hit you, in between the eyes tonight with a few things that I'm going to say, but it's just for your own good. Seriously, all of our value is brought to you just for your own good and to motivate you. So to me, the answer to this is really, really simple, because I had to learn how to do this in order to be successful. And I'm not going to get woo-woo on you, but it touches a little bit about it. And the answer for me is simply to be present. And you're going, okay, what the hell is Nettie off on about now? Okay, well, I'm going to try and explain it. And I like to use stories, or I like to use analogies to sort of help people realize what I'm talking about. So Sam's been out of town, so I've been at home alone, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to try something that I'd never ever done before, and I've always heard how good it is for you, and I thought, I'm going to try this. So I decided to try yoga. And last Saturday, and I don't go to a class. I crank on YouTube, and I find this guy that I've been following, and trying to learn baby steps as we go. But last Saturday, I cranked on the YouTube, and I was by myself, and he said, we are going to do the pigeon pose today. He might as well said we were going to fly a 747, because I had no idea what that was. But a pigeon pose is this pose where you stretch one leg out behind you and fold the other one out sideways in front of you and bend forward and lie down on top of the whole damn thing. Now, I guess it's pretty fun if you're a pigeon, but I mean, it was a pose that I didn't like it. I struggled with it, and it really hurt. And not on top of that, I was scared I was going to get stuck in that pose. I mean, I looked like a flippin' pretzel all intertwined like that. So even though my body was saying, I don't want you to do this, I really don't want you to do this, I was determined to kind of relax myself into it. And even though at the time I'm in my head going, I'm just silently begging the dude to tell us to change to a different pose, because he was off. He was talking. He was busy, busy, busy. He was babbling on and on about how connection to the universe and our breath and the true enlightenment. And I'm saying to myself, holy flippin' cock-a-doo-doo, will you hurry up? I am afraid that I am really going to rip something. I'm sure I've ripped something. And if not, I'm stuck. Where's my phone? Because I'm going to have to call somebody to come and unstuck me. Is that a word? Unstuck? And then suddenly, whoosh. I breathe into it. I shut out all of that chitter-chatter, yammering in my brain, and I got quiet, and I started to surrender to it. And I really could feel my body shift and go deeper into the pose that I was trying to obtain. And actually, the pain let up. The panic was gone, and I seemed to be really in control of myself at that moment. But then I realized that I really do think I'm stuck. And I start to hear this guy's voice again, like, seriously, dude, WTH, are you going to talk all night? We have been in this pose for 5 minutes, and by the way, my knee just got so hot, and you really are not going to shut up. You are going to keep going, and then whoosh, I reconnected again. I'm back in the zone again. I melted into that kind of a pose, if you could, and I really felt good about it. I really felt, you know, joy and a connection to something that was bigger than me, because I had never ever done that before. But, and you know, that's what happened to me. Now, I'm trying to compare that to our lives. And this flip-flopping between freaking out in our heads and breathing into the now is basically how most of us go through life. Instead of worrying about the possibility of dislocating a hip, which when I was doing the yoga, which is the future, or about how bad I was at this pose, which was the past, I could have just indulged and enjoyed the moment more. So it never ceases to amaze me the amount of time we spend chasing the squirrels around in our brains, playing out our dramas, worrying about unwanted facial hair, seeking adoration, justifying an action, complaining about slow internet service, dissecting the lives of other people, when we're sitting in the middle of this full-blown miracle that is happening right now. We are on a planet that somehow knows how to rotate on its axis and follow a defined path while it hurtles through space. And let me just take my phone and turn it off here. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, so that, you know, it's amazing what we're living on right now. I mean, our hearts beat, we can see, we have love, we have laughter, language, we have living rooms, computers, compassion, cars, fire. I mean, we have it all, you know? Medicine, mountains and muffins. I mean, we live in a limitless universe overflowing with basically miracles. And the fact that we aren't stumbling around in such awe of this, I mean, it's just appalling, actually, because the universe must be like, what more can I do to wake these biatches up? I mean, really? The universe loves us so much and wants us to partake in this miraculous stuff so badly that sometimes she does deliver little wake-up calls. Like, you know, when you're in the movies, when somebody, you know, narrowly escaping death and is so overjoyed and grateful, and they take it to the streets and they're skipping and they're smiling and they're hugging everybody that they come along. Suddenly, all their problems fall away. And the miracle of being alive today, in this moment, takes over on the screen. Now, everybody on this panel, and a lot of you that are probably watching too, we all know someone who almost drowned at the bottom of a waterfall in Costa Rica. And he now speaks about it as one of his most profound and life-changing experiences. Now, I hope that doesn't happen to you, that it has to get to a catastrophe for you to have a transformation. But be careful, because the universe works in funny ways. So if you think about it, the universe has helped us to get within ourselves and to realize how darn good we've got it and how we can get all of this by giving us some teachers. And what I mean by that is, like, take animals, for example. I mean, animals, they're present all the time, and their secret power is to pull us in with them. I mean, our two dogs, Bella and Lucci, they are so happy to see us every single time we walk in the door. It's like we are about to free them from 40 years of imprisonment, even though we've only been gone maybe a half an hour. They go, oh, you here, I'm here, I love you, and I am going to pee all over the floor about it. Yeah, well, they actually don't, but you know what I'm getting at. And little kids too. I mean, they're so in the moment. You know, kids get so wrapped up in the joy of drawing or pretending or discovering that they really could care less if they eat or bathe or sleep if we didn't make them do it. They're constantly creating in a state of free-flowing fun, 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 fun. They haven't learned to worry about what other people think of them, or perhaps that they're not as good as the kid next door. They're not as talented as the child next door. They are in the moment. And there's fun in every moment. End of story to a child. You know, we would be very wise to take more cues from the beasts and the babies and all that stuff that we're so worried about creating and fixated in becoming. And you're really worried about it. I know y'all are. It's like it's already here, right now. I mean, the money you want, it already exists. The person you want to meet is already alive. The experience you want to have, it's available right now. The idea for that brilliant blog you want to write, it's here now, waiting for you to download the information. And the knowledge and the joy and the insight and the connection and the love are all waving their hands in your face trying to get your attention. The life you want is right here, right now. So you're going, okay, what the hell's she talking about? If it's all here, where is it? Well, again, another analogy. I mean, think about electricity. I mean, before light bulbs were ever invented, most people were not aware of electricity's existence. It was still here, we just hadn't woke up to it yet. And it took the invention of the light bulb to bring it to our attention. We had to understand how to manifest it into our reality. It's not that the things and the opportunities that we want in life don't exist yet. It's that we're not yet aware of their existence or the fact that we can really have them. So the more practiced you become at being present and connected to the universe, the more available you are to download ideas, seize opportunities that you might miss out on if you were all wrapped up in endless chitter-chatter in your head. Okay? Stop that. You know, there's a story, it's a Hindu story, about a lady who she wanted to meet the god Krishna. So she went out into the forest and she closed her eyes and she prayed and she meditated on making the god appear. And lo and behold, Krishna came wandering down the path toward her. And when he tapped her on the shoulder, without opening her eye, she said, like, take off, get out of here, told him to get lost, because she was busy meditating on a very important goal. She missed her shot. So when we get so wrapped up in our heads, we miss out on what's available to us right now in the moment. You know, like stop and notice how you feel sometimes. Like feel your breath moving in and out of your body. Feel the air on your skin. I mean, feel your heart beating. Your eyes are seeing. Your ears are hearing. Notice the energy inside and outside of you buzzing around. Shut off your thoughts and feel your connection to the universe. Breathe. Even if you have bone-chilling credit card debt or you haven't spoken to your mom in 6 years, right now, in this moment, you can find peace and joy in that which is. And now, as adults with responsibilities like bodies to care for and mortgages to pay for, and there's some value in taking a side trip away from the present, and that's okay every once in a while. You know, sometimes we need to think about and plan for the future as well as study the past in order to learn from it, or laugh about it, or bury it out back and let it go forever. And if we just stop by for the occasional visit to the future and the present, or the past, that would be one thing. But the amount of time we spend chewing on junk food thoughts about what ifs and how comes, Lord help us, gets us nothing. More you spend in the moment, the richer your life will be. Being present gets you out of your head and connects you to the universe, which raises your frequency, which attracts things of like frequency to you. Woohoo! Yeah, that's a little woohoo. And all of these high frequency things and experiences, that they're already there, gang. They're already here. They're just waiting for you to join the party. All you have to do is shut up, show up, and usher them in. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with this. I mean, just be present and tell everything else that take a hike, okay? So I hope I hope you took something from that. I didn't mean to get a little woo-woo. That is really kind of out of Nettie's realm. But anyways, I did. So anyways, we're going to move on, and it's Shirley May. You up for this, my kiddo?
Well, thank you, Nettie. Yeah, you totally blew me away, and it's crazy how everything works together. Everything has a purpose. There's a reason for everything. Because just today, I had over a 3-hour conversation with one of my dearest friends about this topic. And the funny thing is I've been the one that's talking to her about law of attraction. The only way she's ever heard of law of attraction is through me. And I'm talking about some of my issues. I'm talking about how to be more productive, and she's talking about her issues. And suddenly she's schooling me, and she's saying, "Shirley, that's law of attraction. That's why that's happening." And I found it so amazing that we can see what we sometimes can't see within ourselves, something that everyone else can see, and then when they say it, you instantly clue in and you're like, yes, that's what it means. And I'm just gonna try to, that 3-hour conversation I had today, I'll try to put it down into a few minutes. But I want to touch on what Nettie said on being present, because I feel that is the answer to when you wake up in the morning and you just don't feel like showing up in your business. Because I've said it before in other hangouts that I refuse to work unless I'm inspired. I refuse to put up crap content. I refuse to go on video if I'm not in an inspired state, because if I'm not, everything seems like hard work. Everything has so much resistance, and it's just, that's how I've been dealing with it. And then I realized, well, just because I don't wake up in an inspired state doesn't mean that I don't have to show up in my business. So what you can do is set office hours for your business. Start on things that don't require you being in an inspired state, like replying to emails or creating a graphic or listening to a training. That does not require you to be inspired. So you start on the menial things, and then as time goes on, you'll become inspired and you can go create the awesome stuff that you're meant to create in your business. So that's, one way of, feeling, because here's the thing. I want to ask you guys a question. How many days do you work your business because you have to work your business? And how many days do you work your business because you want to? There's a difference. If you treat your business like a job, you're not going to create awesome stuff. I know it because for the first 6 or 9 months of my business, I didn't have much time to work my business. And I showed up, but I wasn't putting my heart into it. I wasn't inspired. And I was, putting stuff up that I was not proud of. But as time went on and I learned more about being in the flow, being in the zone, being present, that's when I learned that it can happen, and that's what I wanted for myself. So a little bit about the conversation I had today is, I want to read a comment about Aaron Rashkin, because that's kind of what started our conversation. And he said, let me just bring it up, that when we create clutter and distractions in our lives, that's how we create self-sabotage. So if you're waking up in the morning and you're not on fire for your business, it's because you're self-sabotaging yourself. It is. You're choosing not to be present, like Nettie said. You're choosing to self-sabotage yourself. You're choosing to start scrolling on Facebook on your phone. You're choosing to do all these things that, and like Aaron says, it's a result of your low self-esteem, your poor self-image, and a fulfillment of the I'm not good enough syndrome. So if you have a low self-worth and you wake up in the morning and you decide, your mind will try to prove that you're right. Your mind will try to prove that you're right. And the only way to get out of that mind screwery that's going on is to, like Nettie said, get present and start somewhere. Just show up and believe that if you just show up in your business, you'll get inspired later. You'll get inspired at some point. That's all you need to do. Show up, do the tiny little things that don't require you to think or feel or be fully inspired, and then time will go on and you will get to that place. So that's all I'm going to talk about today, Nettie, and I'll hand it back over to you.
Great. That was great, Shirley. And yeah, I think you reiterated what I was trying to say to everybody. It's not always easy to be present, but it's a necessity. And you have to train yourself to do it. And if you want it bad enough, if you want to be successful, if you want your goal, if you want to reach your why, you'll do it. You'll learn to train yourself, and you'll be present every single day, day after day after day. So on that note, I'm going to move it over to Zen and let her talk to us.
Nettie, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about, the universe must have been speaking to the two of us, because today I thought, well, I'm always woo-woo. I think I'm going to go a little pragmatic. And but I will speak to staying present in a little bit, because I have a little something to throw in there about that I was kind of researching for a client. So, but in our Tilt copy that we sent out to our list, and in your that we presented for the event, there was one line that made me laugh out loud, and actually I thought, yeah, I do. This is how I have to think about, how do I do it? And the line is, meet your day like your hair is on fire. And it just cracked me up, because I thought, wow, if the roof is on fire, you got to do something about it. And your hair is certainly your roof. So I just wanted to walk quickly through what I do every day, 7 days a week. Now, I skipped yesterday, Sunday, because I just didn't feel like it. And that's okay. To me, pick one day a week and you just don't do what you don't feel like doing. That's cool. But for the most part, I do this every day. And I wake up fairly early, so this isn't for everyone, but this is what I do. The first thing that I do when I wake up is I think of, in my mind, or I might even say it out loud, are the 5 top things I'm grateful for. And my number one thing is always just to be alive, because I've lost some friends young and I've lost some family members. So to me, just being here is very important. The other 4 can be random. It could be, oh, I'm so stoked that I lined up my coffee on my coffee pot with a self-timer, you know, and that's going to go off momentarily. Or it could be something big, like today is the day that I go, you know, do something big. I don't know what it is. It changes every day. But number 1 is always just another day here on this planet. And then from there, I go straight to name 5 things about myself, to myself, that I like about myself that shifted from yesterday or the day before. Things that I improved on based on the fact that yesterday maybe I didn't handle them so well in my mind, and that I like better today about me. And that gets me prepped for me. And then my coffee either goes off because I remember to set that coffee pot up, or I have to go out and make it. But either way, I go get a cup of coffee, and I get back in bed, and I read uplifting material for a half an hour. Now, that can be anything, that a business book that inspires you, or right now I'm reading 4-Hour Work Week, and he's got some, you know, I read just his original a couple of years ago, but he's done some improvements on it that are just fantastic, and I just love his attitude. It's at once embracing and cut to the chase, and it's really hard to explain unless you've read it, but I just love his practical tips blended with how to cut right straight to the meat of the matter and do what you need to do, and cut out all superfluous activity so that you can be in a heightened state of inspiration, for lack of a better word. I mean, inspired is a really great word, but what he's talking about is cutting seriously to the chase of doing things that will benefit you for whatever success that you want as a human. So if you want a better relationship, cut to the chase and get to the things that will make that better, whether that's just calling a person and having a straightforward communication with them that's not confrontational to get things back on track, or whatever that may be, or if it's about work, what are your income-producing activities, and how can you tighten them up so that you're not spending hours doing those things? What is the essence of what you need to accomplish with that income-producing activity, and get to it? And so that book in particular has just been really fun for me lately. And then the third thing that I do is I listen to an Inner Circle audio. And I only listen to, and here's where I'm going to give you my secret, I only listen to a half hour of it at a time. I might get back to it later in the day, but I find that an hour and a half of it just listening straight, for me, I lose concentration. I'm good for a half an hour. So I jot down whatever nuggets I can in the half an hour, and I watch the rest of it at some later point in the day or the following day. And then I get to the daily stuff of blogging and marketing. Now, I've also let out my secret recently on my blog and probably on Facebook, on Tilt or whatever, that I only blog 4 times a week. Because to me, I listen to and I pay close attention to people like Neil Patel, and if he says it's 2,000 words that catches attention, then it's 2,000 words. And right now, to get 2,000 words that I feel are potent and filled with energy and value that can reach out and touch somebody, and I preview it and I reread it 2 or 3 times, because I wrote, I don't know, a few weeks ago that if at least one sentence doesn't bring tears to my eyes, I'm not publishing it. That's the bottom line. So I go back and I redo that, and it's not painstaking for me. I just, you know, I do it on Dragon app, and then I edit from there in my in Word, and then I pop it up on my blog. I add the pictures, and I do all those activities, and then I leave it. I put it on draft, and I leave it, and I come back later with fresh eyes to read it. And I do that a couple of times before I release it. So to me, that's an income-producing activity, but it's got to be tight, and it's got to be good. And otherwise, I don't want to do it. I don't want to release it. So those are the things that I work with, and you know, by the time I get through the five things I'm grateful for and the 5 things that I really dig about myself, I feel good. I feel happy. And because I know that there's certain joy in living if you do just stay present. So I'm going to segue into that mode, because here's an interesting thing. I had a client come in the other day, and you know, he's actually got quite a nice life. He's well established at his job. His job is in sales, but he's got it at this point where he can visit clients, you know, and call the next one and say, hey, I'm finishing up here. I'll be there at 3:30 or whatever. He's just got an easy, free-flowing life. He's met this woman of his dreams, which is why he originally came in, because he's getting close to 50, and he said, I don't even know how to commit. I don't even know how to follow through on this. I need some help. Can you help me? And I said, yeah, of course. But he came in and he was talking about stress. And the issue with staying present, I was thinking about it on my way into this appointment, because this is really important. I thought, you know, there's so many videos, and I was about to make one myself, and I still will. I'm actually going to podcast about it too, because this is important stuff. The reason why there's so many videos out there about staying present and why we talk about it so much is because it's difficult to do for most people. And do you know why? Because in each moment, people's minds tend to jump back to the past to bring in something into the present, or they're programming for the future. And sometimes those thoughts conspire simultaneously to screw up your now. Because if you're trying to have, let's just say, a good relationship, if the moment somebody says something to you that sets off a trigger that reminds you of 3 other relationships that went sour, you have brought into your present something that is an entirely different person, entirely different time. And really, with your adult mind, you kind of know better that that really isn't what's occurring this time. Those words got taken out of context in your own mind because you assigned a story to it from the past. Because in each of these moments, if you're with me, and I'm totally with you right now, there's nothing bad happening here. I feel fantastic. And so that's where I tend to, whenever a past thought pops into my mind while I'm busy trying to enjoy my present, I think, where is that coming from? What was the trigger? And how can I make it go away? What's my easiest way, my easiest method to make it go away? Because it occurs for everyone. I'm not excluded from that program. And also programming for my future. And as Nettie said, you know what? It's already downloaded. It's already waiting for you. My 2,000-word blog posts for daily, they're already waiting out there for me. I'm downloading them. And in fact, today I wrote 3 partials. And I thought, isn't that funny? Because all I have to do is come back to these and boom, boom, boom. Other thoughts will come to me, and they'll be 2,000 words within moments. But that's going to be for another day. And so all that you want is already waiting out there for you. And it's so true. And you just have to tap in. And as I said to, I've said it on numerous occasions, but I actually said it one time to my ex, you know what? If you only stepped out of your own way, it'd be there right now, right there, right now. Because it's true. We tend to stand in our own way. But it's really hard to get objective about yourself. And that's why sometimes people come and see somebody like me, a hypnotherapist or even a regular therapist, because they're standing with themselves and they cannot step aside. And so staying present is, I'm going to give you this practice. When you're in the present moment, there's nothing going on here that's bad. And I thought about this long and hard, because this is going to sound like I'm trying to encapsulate just about everything, and everything's groovy all the time. Well, no, it's not. You know, I mean, I've had people pass away on me that it was well before their time. Did it feel good at the time? Oh, hell no. Hell no. What could I do about it? Well, not much. And the thing is that I would think long and hard about these people and think, now, how long would they actually want me to stay sobbing? How long would they actually want me to be upset? How long would they want me to be in mourning? Or would they rather me encapsulate their spirit in my heart and carry on and have a good time? Which would they probably prefer? Well, I'll tell you right now, just in case anything happens to me overnight, I want you all to remember me with fondness and carry on and have a good time and do the good things in life that you want to do. That's what my spirit would want for yours. So I think that's pretty much it, except for I just wanted to tell you about pigeon pose and visualization too. Pigeon pose used to be my favorite, and I used to be able to get all the way down on the ground with my arms laid out. I was very proud of my pose and pigeon pose, and it was fantastic, great stretch. And then one day I hurt my hip 4 years ago, and it was a combination of working out and doing all kinds of funky things all in 1 week, and I'm not going to go there, but I was in pain. And it didn't go away, and it took a long time to subside, and then it became intermittent. And I would get upset with myself, and I still continued to do pigeon pose, but I couldn't get down on my left leg. My hip just, it couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And it wasn't getting better. It wasn't like it was progressing, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to go into hypnotherapy about this one for myself with my mentor. Usually I just meet with her to talk about clients, but I went to her and we did the dial down pain technique that I use with clients. And I dialed down the pain to a degree, and then I started visualizing. I visualized a day when I would just drop down and have no pain and go down and do pigeon pose. And I didn't actually practice at it. But about 3 weeks ago, and this is how my mind works and my life works, all of a sudden I realized, wow, I haven't had any pain in my left hip for I don't even know how long. It just dropped out of sight. It dropped off my timeline. I just stopped noticing, and that's a good thing. And so I thought, I'm going to try and do pigeon. I'm going to see if I can actually get it back. Do I have it? And I went to the gym, and I warmed up, of course. You know, you got to get, before you do that one, you better be in a warm position. And I got down. I didn't get all the way down as I did before, but I got down without pain. And I have to say that it was a pretty thrilling moment, because for a while there, even though I know better, there were moments when I couldn't get down that I thought, now I understand the chronic pain of some people. It's depressing because they feel like there's not a light at the end of the tunnel, because I didn't foresee a light at the end of my tunnel. I didn't foresee myself ever feeling like I could get that back, and it was weird. And so it gave me even stronger empathy for people who go through chronic illness or chronic, even mental pain, emotional pain, because it's a sound loop there as well, and you can't break out of it. And so there has to be constant analysis of it and work with it and embrace it almost to a degree before you can let it go and be with it, and then it goes away. And sometimes it'll recur again, but you'd embrace it again, and then it'll go away again. And I don't know if that makes any sense in terms of me getting back into pigeon pose, or, you know, how to go about visualizing that for yourself, but that's what I did. And that's my wrap on meeting your day with your hair on fire. I just love that line, Nettie. That was awesome. So I'll hand it back to you now. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Zen. And, you know, you can say all you like, how much you love that pigeon pose. And I've noticed some comments in the thread that they like the pigeon pose too. Yeah. Okay. Like, I'm going to be nice about this, because my next pose is going to be like my golden retrievers, on my back with my hands up in the air like this, my paws. That's my pose. But Sue Price has dared me to videotape me doing the pigeon pose. And if she knew me, she should never dare me, because it's going to happen if you dare me. Just ask Sam. And so we'll see. You guys might see a video coming up very, very soon of me looking like a pretzel. So, and if I get unstuck, I'm calling all of you. Or if I get stuck, I mean. So, anyways, moving right along, because it's Kristen's turn, and I'm not giving you any value at all right now by talking about the pigeon pose. So, Kristen, sweetheart, take it away, please.
Thank you, Nettie, and you've inspired me to even go and figure out what the pigeon pose is. Because to be honest with you, I have no idea. Like, and even when you describe it, I'm gonna Google this as soon as we get off of here, and I'm gonna go figure this out. I've done some yoga, but obviously I was not taught the pigeon pose, or if I was, I didn't know I was doing it. But it's funny because I love that we don't discuss really what we're talking about, and I was a little bit late getting here tonight, and so I don't know if you guys shared ideas before the hangout, but because I took such a literal thought process when we came up with this, with the subject for and the topic for tonight. And so I literally, when I read it, I was like, okay, if we're supposed to be living every day to the fullest, not just on the good days, well, what about the bad days? And so I'm thinking about literally, what are the bad days? How do we deal with the days that we wake up and they're literally bad? Like you get into car accidents, or if you're me, you fall down basement stairs. Like there's literally bad things that happen. And then I got to thinking, I was like, okay, so what am I going to talk about? What am I going to share? And it's funny that you all started talking about being in the present, because the conclusion I came to is there really are no bad days. There's just not. There's life. Okay, so funny story. Many of you don't obviously know my mom, but I broke out laughing the other day because we have this relative who sometimes over-exaggerates stuff on Facebook, and something happened. He ran into the ditch, and complete panic attack, going on to this total rant. On and on and on. And then, of course, what does Facebook people do? All of our friends and family come to the rescue. Oh, sweetie, we're praying for you, blah, 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 when really it was no big deal. So then here's my mom. All these people adding all their sympathy and saying, oh, it's going to be okay. Then I get my mom. It's called life. That was all she said. It's called life. But that's really what it comes down to, is there's no such thing as a bad day. And so actually, when I was preparing for tonight, I immediately thought of Brian Tracy's book, No Excuses. This book was a hard one for me to read. Actually, it's a very easy read, but it's all about self-discipline. And anyone who knows me well knows that self-discipline is something that I continually have to learn in different aspects of my life. And reading his book is definitely a big challenge for anybody who hasn't quite mastered that yet. But there's one quote that he wrote that I will never, ever, ever be able to let go in my life. And basically he says, practice self-discipline when dealing with a problem or crisis by immediately saying, I am responsible, even if at that moment you are responsible only for controlling your responses. And to me, that encompasses exactly why there's no such thing as a bad day. Because I know for me, it's like when something bad happens, you struggle for control. We're all looking to feel like we are in control of our lives. But what we don't realize is the way we react to different situations, whether you're in a car accident, you rode off into a ditch, or you have to walk your dog in negative freaking degrees. I don't even know how cold it is, but it's cold. And just all these bad days. Well, it's how we react to it, and we are responsible. So many of us, we react poorly to things, and we don't stay in the present like everyone else has spoken about. And what we're really doing is we're letting go of our control. And it's this spiral that gets out of control, because by saying I am responsible, when you wake up in the morning, no matter what happens, no matter if you're still in a job and you go to work and your boss yells at you for something that you had no control over, it can feel really bad, and it can feel like a bad day. But all you can say is I am responsible, because you are. You might not be responsible for that actual situation, but you are responsible for how it's going to impact your life, impact your day, impact where you go from there. And that's why staying in the present and realizing that by taking responsibility for where you're at, that's how you gain control over your life. And that's how you gain control over the fact that you don't have to have a bad day. You can literally wake up every single morning and have good days every day, no matter what happens in life. Like Zen said, I've actually come to the conclusion I have a really hard time, when we think about people passing away, and I've had people who have died really young and definitely way before their time, and yet I have a hard time giving my condolences, because I'm like, I'd rather have them in my life than not have had them at all. So it's always about how you perceive things and how you decide to you decide to react. Again, it's how you take responsibility for what goes on in your life. And so that was my thought process when we went into tonight, is just a very literal sense of, you know, just day to day, it's your choice. Every day I wake up, I have the choice. Is it going to be a good day? Is it going to be a bad day? Am I going to only look at the things that are going wrong in my life? Or am I going to choose to say, I'm responsible for every aspect of my life. I can take control, and I can make it however I want to make it. So that's what I had to share with you guys tonight. And I just want to also thank you all for joining us. Like, I don't know if I've actually ever done that since I started on these panels, but I am blown away by the friend requests and by just the people who reach out and tag us and things and just share what this panel does. And you're not alone. Every time I get onto this, I mean, Shirley, what you said, it's like I'm already going to come back and rewatch all of you guys speak again, because you've touched on so many things that have impacted myself. So thank you, and thank you for joining. So I'll push it back over to you, Nettie.
Sorry, I went to unmic myself and I clicked the wrong button. I almost shut the Hangout down. Woo, okay. And we can't do that because we've got Miss Erica coming up to finish the night off for us. So take it away, Erica, please.
Just found my unmute button. Wow. You know, what I love about these Hangouts is that none of us prep together. None of us kind of like get together and go, oh, what are you going to say? What are you going to say? What are you going to say? But it all just beautifully flows. And sometimes, you know, I come to these Hangouts and I have something already prepared that I'm going to talk about, and then I listen to the ladies and I'm like, okay, we're going on a different tangent. And I was going to bring out the whole, you know, Erica business side of me and like, oh yeah, you know, hair on fire and face the world. And I'm not going to do that speech tonight, because I think there's one component that I think if you grasp this, you'll really understand how all these ladies remain so present. And I'm sure they're all doing it. I haven't actually discussed it with them, but I'm sure they all are. And there's one thing that you can do every single day that will completely bring you into the present moment and make you understand that you've got this. And I don't know how many people are doing it here, but it's meditation. And I meditated when I was in my 20s because that was, you know, where I was at in my life. In my 30s, I was just having too much of a good time. Meditation wasn't around at all. That would have been like too weird. But in my 40s, I've returned to it because I know it is the only place that will get me to that point where I know I can truly be of service to others. Because here's what happens when you don't meditate. I think it was Nettie that was mentioning it. Your mind can get really cluttered. Sorry, it was Shirley mentioning what, you know, Aaron was talking about. Your mind can get really cluttered and jumbled, and just, you know, you can start spewing out a whole lot of junk because your mind isn't straight. If you can grasp the concept of sitting with yourself for just 15 minutes and allowing all this beautiful source energy to just flow through you for 15 minutes, you will know how truly awesome you are. Because when you have this buzz just flowing through you and you come out of it at the end of your 15 minutes and you kind of look around your environment, you know that you are in the right place at the right time for the right reason. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. And when you approach your day with that sense of knowing that you are completely on purpose, you want to show up every day. You want to. You know, and I was listening to the lady speaking about being in the now. You know, if you had told me that 10 years ago, I'd be like, what the heck are you guys, what do you mean be in the now? Like, how do you get there? And I never understood how to get there until I read this book. And guys, let me know in the comments if you've read this, because it's a really powerful book. I'd love to know who it is, you know, on the same page as this. If you haven't, I highly recommend you go out and get it, because he explains exactly how there really is no past and there really is no future. All there is now. So, you know, like sometimes we get all these crappy thoughts about, oh my God, what if this happens? What if that happens? Well, that's future stuff, and there is no future. There is only now, this present moment. And when you can sit comfortably in the present moment and know that everything is okay right now, and you act from that place, your business, your life, everything changes. Because all those things you're worrying about that might happen in the future, that's in the future, which there is no future. All there is right here, right now. I hope that's making sense. I just want to read the back cover of this book, because if you haven't got it, it's a book that changed my life. It's a book that allowed me to never worry. I don't worry anymore. I have no attachment to anything. I have no attachment to any outcome, because I just know that I'm always in the right place at the right time for the right reason. And also another thing that I want to talk about really, really quickly is sometimes when we don't approach our business like our hair is on fire, it's because we don't have a bigger vision. You know, I talk about this a lot. I talk about your personal why. Why is it that you're doing your business? You know, you all have your own personal reasons why. And that's awesome. However, sometimes we can cheat ourselves. Sometimes we can be bad to ourselves. We can not look after ourselves. We can cheat ourselves. We can not do the best for ourselves. And this is why you need a big why. You need a why that is bigger than you. Okay, your big, massive why. It's called your vision. When you can tap into your vision, your big why that is outside of you, you're not just serving you anymore, you will get up in the morning. You will get out of bed at ridiculous hours. You will do what you need to do, because someone other than you is counting on you to show up. You know, when I first started, I always used to say, if I can just affect one person today with my words or something I've posted or a video I've done, then, hey, I've lived a very, very full, purposeful life today. That's my only goal every day, one person. Just one, if I can affect one person. And that gets me out of bed. You know, sometimes, you know, my alarm goes off at 6 in the morning because, as you guys know, I look after, I have a team down under and I have a team up over. That's funny, up over. Never said that before, but I have 2 teams, right? And so at 6 o'clock in the morning, I can catch my down under team, when they, send messages and they, need stuff. And then later on in the afternoon, I've got my American, my Northern Hemisphere team. But sometimes I'm lying awake at 4:30 in the morning thinking what the time zone is there, wondering, oh my God, I wonder if someone needs me right now. And that inspires me to get up. Sometimes I get up at 4:30 in the morning just in case someone needs me. Now, if I was only getting up for me and my husband, then I'd stay in bed. I'd stay in bed. I would stay in bed. But that thought that maybe someone needs to hear something, maybe I need to reach out, maybe someone just, I don't know, needs to cross my path, that gets my hair on fire, and that gets me out of bed. Every day I come to the computer with my hair on fire. I love that expression. When I read that in the Swire, I'm like, damn, that is just so awesome, because it's such an awesome visual. Like, there's that massive sense of urgency, okay? And you need to find that sense of urgency, and it comes from your massive, big reason why. There are so many people out there, my darlings, who need you, and they need the best version of you. So how do you become the best version of you? I promise you, grab this book. I'm just going to read the back cover for you because it's really, really powerful. Prepare for an amazing journey where life gets better and better. When I read that first part, I'm like, damn, man. Having said that, it took me 5 years to read this book because I found it in my 30s and like, dude, I'm not ready for you yet. And then in my 40s, someone said, Erica, you've got to read that book. And I'm like, man, it's been sitting on my bookshelf for 7 years. I can't get into it. And someone said, well, you might be ready now. Whoa. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Okay, so here we go. In today's rush, we all think too much, seek too much, want too much, and forget about the joy of just being. We worry about what people think of us. We compare ourselves with our friends, family, and neighbors, and deep down we worry that we're not good enough. Eckhart Tolle, or Tolle, I never quite know how to say his name, will give you the confidence to let go of fear, anxiety, and the eternal quest for more. Read this book and you will stop defining your life and start living it with true openness and freedom. Stop searching for happiness and you'll realize where it is, in those moments and feelings that you can't put into words. Find out who you truly are and change your life for the better forever. I remember when I read this, I had pretty much just found Lucy, or Lucy had just found us. And I remember that I used to walk in the park and I didn't notice anything. My inner circles will I don't play my inner circles when I'm walking anymore. My walking is for pure meditation. And after reading this book, I remember, I used to walk with Lucy, and I used to be so like, oh my God, I've got to get back, and I've got to do my emails, and I've got to, and it was just a big stroke. After reading this book and walking with Lucy, man, I started seeing dew on the leaves of trees. I'm like, I never noticed that before. And it was like they were sparkling like diamonds. I started hearing woodpeckers chopping away at trees. I'd never heard these things before. And in the book, he talks about the fact that when he understood this concept of living in the now, he sat on a park bench for 2 years, just completely blissfully happy, because he got it. He got that now is all there is. When you can get to that point where you can embrace your present moment, oh my God, this beautiful world just opens up to you, and you can't help but share that with everybody. So, my darlings, these are my 2 tips for this week. Start meditating and grab this book, A New Earth. Grab this book. Admittedly, this is the first one, The Power of Now, and I'm still not kind of jiving with the way it's written. This is the second book. I read this first, and that would be what I recommend to do, because that's what I did. But darlings, it's the most powerful thing when you connect with the present moment and you have this beautiful source energy coming through you from meditation. You will approach your business and your life like your hair is on fire. You won't be able to help yourself. You will not be able to help yourself. And on that note, darlings, I'm out. I'm going to hand it back to Nettie. Thank you so much for joining us every single week. We appreciate you so much. We love you so much. And we'll see you next Monday. Mwah.
Thank you, Missy. That was amazing. I love it when you go deep. And I want to take a minute and just say, I just want to piggyback on what you said about showing up every day and waking up at 4:30, sometimes wondering if somebody needs you. Every single one of you out there, I know you've got it in you. I know you can do it. I know if you don't feel you've gotten there right now, I know your breakthrough is coming, and you never know what day that it's going to come. You just don't. And always be on your game. Try and be on your game. This morning I got up. I was having kind of a oh-hum day. I'd gotten some news that was, I mean, there's a lot worse things out there. So, and everybody's fine, so don't think that. But I was not feeling the best on my game, and I went onto Facebook and I posted this picture, and I always post them because they resonate to me. Anything I post, I feel it before I share it. And it was along the lines of, don't let anybody else tell you what you should be. I choose to be what I am. And within 5 minutes, I got a private message from somebody that is not associated with any of us on this team. She's an acquaintance I met on Facebook, and out of the blue, she sent me this private message, and I'll just read it. She said, "Good morning. I just wanted you to know that your Facebook page and you, to be specific, are very inspiring. Keep it up, Nettie. You're precious." And that just made my whole day. And I ended up going back and forth with her for a while because I also knew that was a cry for help. And so we kind of went back and forth, and I think she went away feeling a whole lot better. So be on your game. Be present. Just bring it out in you, because somebody out there needs to hear from you. They need to hear what you're on about today. And on that note, I'm going to close it down. Tomorrow morning, I expect to see a whole bonfire all around the world because all your hair will be on fire, okay? And we are going to rock it again next Monday night. In the meantime, though, I'm going to urge you, if you are inspired by us, we also have guys on our team, so don't let that run you away. Click the button below. Get started with us. Join us. We're the Total Inspired Living Tribe, and we are out there to change lives and help you find your goal, your vision, and your meaning in life. So please reach out to anybody on this panel or to the person that invited you to come to this hangout, or just click the button below, because we would love for you to join us. And I'm going to tell you, it'll rock your world. you just won't feel the same about things. So, in the meanwhile, have a great week. We'll all come back bald next week because our hair will be all burned off, but that's okay. So take care. Love y'all, and thank you so much for joining us every single Monday night. Love you. Bye-bye. Take care.
Ariana?